Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for Living Local, your lifestyle show for all things Charleston and beyond. I'm Ashley Meservy.
It's no secret the Low Country continues to grow in population as more and more people flock to the area to live, work, and enjoy all that it has to offer. And that growth causes businesses and organizations to not only rethink how they serve this community, but how to manage it. Today, we are visiting the wonderful folks at Seacoast Church to see how a recent expansion project is helping them do just that and more.
Joining us today, we have Josh Surratt. He is the lead pastor here at Seacoast Church off of Long Point Road. Thank you for having me today.
Well, thanks for being here.
All right, so I'm super excited to see what you've done with the place. But before we look at the expansion project that you just took on and actually just completed, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Seacoast in general.
Yeah, well, we just had our 31st birthday. So we planted 31 years ago, and we always wanted to do church for people who didn't necessarily feel comfortable in church or didn't have much of a church background, and so that's always been our hope and our mission. And it started slow, but over time it's continued to grow, and you know, the church is really a family. It's I think our hope when people come here, it is a big building now, but that they'll realize, man, it's really about the people, the relationships, and finding hope and finding help for life.
So all the different locations across the state, like, are you one big group, or how does that work?
Yeah, we're one church in multiple locations, and that actually started back in 2001. We tried to build this building that we're in right now, and the town said no, didn't work out, and so we were doing 5 services. Everybody was exhausted, and so we tried this multi-site thing. None of us really thought it would work, but now most of our church family meets outside of this building and meet across South Carolina. There's one campus in Asheville, North Carolina, and then all throughout the state.
I love that. Okay, talk about this expansion project that we were just saying. I mean, it has been a huge endeavor.
Yeah, well, and as everybody knows, Charleston's growing, Mount Pleasant's growing, and so we actually have more people in Mount Pleasant that don't go to church today than when we planted Seacoast 31 years ago. And so we knew we needed to make space. We'd run out of space here, and so about 3 years ago, we asked the church to begin to pray and give and consider doing this, and the church got behind it. And so yeah, we've been on a 3-year journey now. Just moved in on Easter Sunday, was our first Sunday. We've got 2,500 seats. We had 1,300 in the old space, and so we've about doubled our capacity, and it's really helped alleviate some of the pressure of you know, space issues that we've had around here.
So what do you think? I've actually been to several services here. So does it change kind of your perspective, like when you're looking out to the audience, knowing how much bigger that it's gotten?
I don't know that it changes my perspective from that standpoint, but it does mean that we have to work harder to, I mentioned the family atmosphere. We really don't want Seacoast ever to be about a production or a show or even a weekend. We want it to be about a family. And so I think we've had to work harder to make sure we have connection opportunities for people. And so I'm excited about some of the projects that we've done. And just our goal is that anyone who comes here, you have an opportunity to meet somebody, make a friend. And when you meet people, when you have friends here, that's when it really feels like a church family.
And I'll tell you personally, I sometimes get intimidated by bigger churches, but when I came here, I felt just a warmth and a welcoming that really, I think it's hard to do when you're a huge church, you know?
Well, the reality for our family is that when we got to about 300 or 400 people, it was the biggest church that any of us had ever been a part of. And so as it's grown, we've kind of grown with it. And so we've never been mega church people. We've been local church people. And so we're grateful for the growth, and that means that God's reaching people and that it's being effective. But we really do, we love church. We love people. We love relationships. And so that's what we try to make it about.
Well, talk about some of the ways you're different too, because one of the things I love when I've come here in the past is the fact that, you know, you say you don't want it to be a production though, but you tell stories that I believe can reach a wide variety of people in all different mediums.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think stories are the language of our culture. Stories are, Jesus used stories so frequently, and so we do try to communicate and tell stories from just testimonies of people's lives being changed here. We've got a video team that does a great job. They've done a short film recently that just won a silver award in the LA Film Festival. So go Seacoast video team, they're great. But we do, I think that helps make it feel intimate too, when you're telling people stories, when you're getting into that. And so, and we've got a great worship team. Ashley's not a big fan of the music, but...
No, let me clarify that. I was born and raised in Somerville, and I was born as an Episcopalian, so I'm used to the traditional typically music, but I do. Come on now.
I said that as a
Oh
joke.
my, now I'm
as a
gonna
joke.
start
It is
blushing.
funny though, because a lot of people, I'd say about half of our church grew up with some kind of Catholic background, and
Really?
so the music is obviously very different. But we're, we've always, that was when we started. We wanted to be a church for people who weren't really used to church or didn't know church, and so we. The music would be something that might look different than the church you grew up in, but they're obviously very, very talented. And
You got to evolve, right?
Well, yeah.
And the message, like I said, with the storytelling and all of that, that's really at the end of the day, walking away with something. There's nothing worse, I think, than when it's unfortunate that you walk away from a sermon and can't have anything to really hold on to,
Well, the Bible is a story. It's a story of God's love and pursuit of humanity. And so I feel like we connect with that. We connect with story. I mean, I can get 7 things that you're going to tell me to do to make my life better, but I'm probably not going to remember any of them by the time I get to the parking lot. But I'll remember a story that connects with my.
All right, let's also talk about the various aspects, though. You do a ton of stuff family-oriented, for singles, for, I love online church as well.
Yeah, so we started church online, probably 10 years ago, and it's really a great tool for people who, for whatever reason, can't make it to church. Maybe they're out of town, have a sick child, have something going on, or people who are homebound. And we have a big community that can't get out of their home, but they now have a church family online. And we just thought, if you can meet your spouse online, if you can do your shopping online, everything's moved there, why can't you experience God in a powerful way online? And so we have that, and then we launched the Dream Center. We have 2 now, one in North Charleston, one in West Ashley. We do medical clinics, we do provide food, pantry, clothing, all that stuff. And so we really we've always wanted to be a church that's for the community. And so I was telling you earlier, the building itself is used over 700 times a year for non-Seacoast events. And so we have from the school systems to special needs groups that come in, to just a lot of times it's people who want to have a work meeting offsite. And so the building, it's got free Wi-Fi. We don't charge rent. Occasionally there'll be a facility fee if you need additional resources, but we do love the community being here. This was not built just for a weekend, one day a week. It was built for the community to use all week long.
Alrighty, and I have to mention one more thing. When I walked in, the impressive, it looks like a jacuzzi pool, but it's actually for baptisms, right?
It's a baptismal pool, yeah.
Yes.
And I got to give a shout out because Atkinson Pool Company, they're part of our church. They donated that.
Oh,
They built that for us. And so it does have heating and cooling capabilities, so it may double as, a water park in the summer. But
I walked in and I was like, okay.
We had our first baptism this past weekend, and we had 100 people get baptized across the church, about 71 or 2 right here. And it's just great because it's out on the patio. It's open. We want people, it's kind of a party atmosphere. People can come hang out and celebrate with each other. Great celebration. All right, anything else we need to know before we head out today? No, just if you haven't checked it out, or if you don't have a church family, we'd love to have you. Love to have you come see what's going on, and grateful for you guys being here today. So thanks again for having us out today. And for more information, of course, you can head online to seacoast.org.